Today is the day when I try to make this fit. First thing I need to do is move this wheelbase back so the center of the axle is about right here. I'm going to tackle shock mounts first, and as you can see, I've already been brainstorming. If you watched the RC parts coming in video, you'll know that I bought the rear Jalonde 2 shock hoops by mistake. I may have just found a reason to use it. So I'm going to go ahead and mount them, and we're going to go ahead and see if I can move this back, and I'll show you what I'm going to do with that. So as you can see, one of them's on there and it looks pretty dang good. If I set this on here, it may work. I may need to make some new brackets, but other than that, yeah, these may work. So let me go ahead and put the other side on, and then we'll go ahead and look into extending this wheelbase of what I may have to do for that. Alright, so for what I'm thinking about, there's no amount of jack stands that you could have to accommodate this. Alright, so the next step would be to take these mounts right here and flip them so that this is facing backwards. And I already know, I have too long of screws in here. But that won't matter because they're going to be somewhere else, I think. Alright, I'm going to go ahead and take them off and flip them around so you can see what's going on there. Well, I made some changes since you saw me a moment ago. I put these King shocks on. These are 90mm. Tried mounting these in the original position, but there is so much. I don't think they're going to work there. Also, I think we have the wheelbase issue taken care of. What I did is I took these mounts that were facing this way and I flipped them. These are actually the front. I put them on the back, and the fronts were from the back are now on the front. Did have to do a bit of modification to them because, well, apparently the holes are drilled differently, so I just ground them down a little bit, and only one screw fits in the hole. Alright, so we have the wheelbase problem mostly taken care of. Okay, the shocks, I think I'm going to move them out here, but I'm going to end up having to make a mount to raise it up a little bit, or I can throw some 80mm in. So let's go ahead and change these to the outside and see what happens. Alright, so I switched them to the outside here. There's no shock mount or anything like that, just a hole that was there. Okay, and range of motion is a lot better than it was. However, it is sitting kind of high in the back, I think. You can leave a comment on that if you like, but I think it's sitting a little bit high. So I'm going to go ahead and switch the 90s to the 80s and see what happens, and if we still have, you know, a good range of motion. Okay, so I have to correct myself because I realized in my last video with the one of my last videos with the parts coming in that I had bought in the 70s and the 90s. I did not buy the 80s, but I wanted to buy the 80s. However, what I did is I put the 70mm on here. It looks a lot better. Range of motion. Okay, so there's no oil in these yet. So range of motion. Actually, I think that an 80 would be dang near perfect. So if I put 80mm shocks all the way around this, That'd probably be perfect. So I wouldn't have to build a hoop. I could just go with this with the existing screw. I'm obviously going to have to put some spacers in here, but other than that, yeah, I like it. Alright, so we're going to move on to the front suspension now. I'm going to put the 70s in the front, and we'll see what the end result is. Okay, so along with the new shocks, I'm also going to put the Gelande 2 shock hoops in the front. So we'll have some options as far as height goes. Okay, so I think we have the wheelbase part of this taken care of. I put the 90s on the front, which are working out really well. And what did I put? 70s on the rear. Alright, so take into account that I do not have any oil in any of this stuff, so it's kind of sticky a little bit. Yep. Alright, so here we go. Alright, so pretty good articulation right there. What I think I'm going to do though is I'm going to go ahead and put 90s all around this thing, and the other thing I did is the other thing I did is I took the Gelande shock hoops and I put them on here, but I reversed them. So usually the there you go. Right? So the flat side's on the outside instead of on the inside. So what that does is it does not require me to have as much of a spacer. I don't know if that means a spacer up on top anyway. The bottom I'm having still a problem with, but I think I have a solution for that. Alright? The rear, I put 70s on it. What I have? Yeah, 70s on here. I meant to buy 80s. I didn't. I bought 70s. But they are a little bit, for this scale size, it is a little bit, yeah. So I have plenty of droop in the front. I have no droop in the rear. Alright, so keep in mind that this is a work in progress, and my goal is to have this completed and done and running by, you know what, I'm not throwing a goal out there, because every time I do that I never make it, and because something happens. It's just the way it is. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and order up more 90s. I do have enough to do this truck there, but I have other trucks that need them, and I really like these King shocks because they are, I mean, I hope that they don't leak, but if they do, I guess they do, but everything is like machined. I mean, it's a really good deal. If you go on the RC 4-wheel drive site, I would suggest picking up a set for whatever rig you're working on. For this one, size does matter. So the little ones in the back, yeah, they don't work. Not they're not very pleasing, we'll just say. Alright, so let's go ahead and throw the body on. Let's see if we got it. I think that's about right where it's supposed to be. There's a flatbed. I gotta tell you, people, if I make this work, it's gonna be like awesome. Imagine it sitting like that, right? If we are there, like right there. Oh, like right there, because there's a screw head that's in my way. Alright, so that's dang near perfect, right? And all I had to do was reverse those mounts, which is great. I'm gonna go ahead and I guess in the next video we're gonna be working on let's get that suspension dialed in. Let's get the bed mounted. I'm gonna have to make some mounts for the front part of the bed. So let's do that. And like I said, this summer I want it running. So if you like this video, hopefully it wasn't too chaotic. Make sure to give a like, click, leave a comment, and subscribe. I'll catch you later.